Right, we're changing the nickname, right? You're no longer the prospect, you're the prospect killer. How's that sound?
The survival artist sounds better because, man, he hit me hard in that first round. You know, I don't know what he caught me with. They said it was a spinning elbow maybe.
I think it was he was going for an elbow, but I think he caught you with the end of his hand.
He hits hard, man. You know, I've got a lot of respect for him. I had a lot of respect for him before we came in, and he's a big 145er. So I don't know if he's going to be moving up, but if not, I think you might have a future champion there because he's only young. You know, I think he's only 25. But yeah, hats off to Jose. He hit me hard.
Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about him because I want to absolutely wax lyrical about you. But watching him, size, range, switch stances, and those combination strikes. Just talk to me through the puzzle solving that you had to go through the period of maybe 6 to 7 minutes before you could get that rhythm going.
So as soon as he dropped me, obviously the game plan was you just got to survive and go into flow state. So unfortunately for my cornerman, I ignored the hell out of them. I went into survival mode. So I just, whatever I could see, move, whatever I could hit. That was the plan. Obviously when I first went in there, the plan was try and get a finish, try and keep the crowd happy. After that shot that he dropped me with, my plan was just survive and win this fight best way you can.
When that happens though, at the end of the first round, you drop him.
Yeah.
So now what's going through your mind? Because you've started to switch the momentum of the fight back in your direction, and it looked like at that point that you were willing to chase it.
Just, I got that dog in me. That's it. You know, sometimes when the tough gets going, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. I've been hit in the head way too many times, didn't I? So, yeah, but at the end of the day, I've got them battle scars, you know. I'm a veteran of the sport. I'm only 32, but, yeah, you know, sometimes you just have to bite down on your gum shield and get through it.
Given the length of his reach and given the range control that he has there, the most impressive thing for me watching it, mate, was that you had to consistently put yourself in danger. You had to stand within his range in order to do your thing. It takes a big set of stones to be able to do that.
That's it, you know, really I should have just took him down and used my ground game. I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu, I have got a good ground game, but yeah, sometimes, you know, you want to keep that crowd happy, you want to go for that 50 Gs, and hopefully, you know, we've done enough to get it.
I've had a look online. There's a few people that think that it could have been 29-28 the other way around, and it was because it was a tight fight, right? What were you thinking within the fight of how that was playing out?
So going into the third, I knew it was a round apiece. Obviously, in my head, I'm like, he's won the first round. Second round, in my head, I'm thinking, I've won that. Third round, I'm thinking, we've got to get this round. And I was the aggressor the whole time. I believed I got the third round. I did know it was close, but even my cornermen were like, Nath, you've definitely got this. So, yeah, at the end of the day, don't leave it to the judges. We did, and fortunately, you know, they're giving it to me this time.
Your analysis was correct, mate, because you had the most significant strikes in round number 2, obviously taking a second round. Right, now then, let's stop messing about now, right, regarding these matchups. When this actual fight was made for you, what was your initial thinking? Because we're talking about a kid off the Contender Series, lots of hype about him, don't get me wrong. He's only had 2 in the UFC, and I know that they were both first round finishes and they wanted, obviously, to build his profile. You're a seasoned vet, so what did you make of that being a matchup for you?
I was if I'm honest, because the way I looked at it was this is just pure risk, no reward. You know, I'm on my last fight on my contract and I'm fighting a guy where if I lose, everyone's going to think, he was only 2-0. But I know that he was a beast. You know, I know when you get guys in the UFC, they're beasts. You know, you can have such a minimal difference between the guys in the top 10 and the guys that have just started their fight. So for me, there was no real reward out of that. Even this fight now, he gave me some damage. I would have rathered someone in them rankings and someone that I could walk away and work up. But at the end of the day, the UFC are the boss, you know, they're the ones in control. That's who they wanted me to fight, then so be it. But, you know, next for me, someone like Patricio Pitbull in London, let's make it happen. You know, I need a big fight, I need a step up. I'm assuming the UFC will probably go to London February, March. If they do, get me a big fight. I don't care where I am on the card, just let me smash someone up in the top 10 or top 15.
It has to be that. You've served your dues, you've beaten a lot of the top prospects in and around Europe on the cusp of the top 15. The next fight should absolutely be a top 15, and Patricio's a great call-out, I think.
I'm 10-3 in the UFC. You know, Patricio Pitbull, nothing but respect. He's a former Bellator champion. He's only had 2 fights in the UFC, 1-1. Why not fight me then? You know, it makes sense as far as I'm concerned. Who else makes sense? You know, what, we're going to give me someone else that's not in the rankings? Am I cannon fodder? You know, I don't know what it is. I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm still young. I'm 32. So, yeah, at the end of the day, give me the best name that I can possibly get.
I also just want to highlight something regarding that just happened there. Obviously, we saw him miss weight yesterday, coming in at 147. He's a big old boy, as you just said, and you think that he might even end up moving up in weight. There'll be people online that looks at that and say, well, Nate gets 20% of his purse. That's an entry-level contract, so I don't know what he's getting paid, but it ain't the same type of dough that you're getting paid, mate. You know what I mean? So to still go through with it and to perform like you've just performed, I think that needs to be highlighted to the fans at home.
Put it in hindsight. His purse that I'm going to be getting pays for my coach's flight. So, but yeah, I don't want his purse. I'm going to tell him that he can keep the purse. I don't want it. He's a warrior, you know. He put on a good fight. Happens. He missed weight by a pound. So be it. But yeah, at the end of the day, it happens. So it's only a pound. But yeah, he's a big boy.
Listen, you've been very, very open about speaking about your mental health challenges and various things that go on in your personal life. I just want to talk about having your family out here this week and how much that has actually helped you perform.
Mate, they're everything. Honestly, you know, without my family being here, I'm looking at my phone every 2 seconds thinking about what's going on and not living in that moment. You know, I need to focus on my fight, and I can't do that when I've got my family at home. So brought them over, and yeah, my little girls have had the best time.
So Walter Walker's shouting over the back of my head here. He's just had a bit of a victory. I'm going to let you get off and go and see that family, mate. That was absolutely awesome. Thank you for the performance, buddy. Take care, mate. After you.